Greetings, beloved, and welcome to our Wholesome Wednesday. Thank you so much for your continued support. We continue on the book of First Kings. We pray that you had a beautiful week. So we continue. Today we are on First Kings chapter 4, right? We had focused on First Kings chapter 3, where Solomon is asking for wisdom. He's praying a prayer that his father had prayed for him. And when the time is right, when now God is asking what he would desire, he remembers his father's prayer and how important it is for us as guardians, as leaders, right? To make sure we instill these disciplines in our people that we're leading and our children, if we are guardians, we are parents, that they will know what to say, they will know what to ask for when if God were to ask any of those that we lead. It could be our children, it could be people in an organization. What would they say about this God that would reflect that they learned that from you? Does your life emulate? Does your life show that you have a God above? Does your life show, right, the people around you? Do they see a God in you as you go about your life? Does your lifestyle reveal who God is? Now, today we're in chapter 4. Solomon is now in power and he decides to put his cabinet in place. He's got secretaries, people that are going, his advisors, right? People that are going to advise him, people that are going to give him. He acknowledges that he can't do this thing alone. And I like that he realizes that he should delegate. A good leader must delegate. Wisdom, remember, Solomon, this is the man that had just asked for wisdom from God and he's been granted. And he has just shown that he now has this wisdom. But still, he still thinks it's right for him to have a place or a space where he will bounce his ideas and you'll be told that these are the blind corners, this is the way to go, this is the direction to follow. Many of us, we struggle with the idea of delegation because we think that someone is going to outshine us. But here Solomon is teaching us a very important point here about being a leader, that we should delegate. Good leaders delegate. Delegating does not mean that you are not capable. Does not mean doing everything by yourself, for yourself. Does not necessarily mean that you are a good leader, right? Overworking yourself, burning out is not a sign or showing that you're a good leader or showing that you're working hard. It means you're not working smart. So Solomon is working smart. He understands that he can't do everything by himself. So he's got secretaries, his advisors that are around him, that he chooses so that they work together. And he gives each a role to play so that he doesn't have to carry the load by himself. Even if he was given this wisdom and understanding as an individual, he understands that even those that are around him who do not have the same amount of wisdom, the depth of the understanding that he has, you can still learn something from them. They can still do, you can still delegate certain duties, right? Now Solomon decides also to have governors, and he decides to divide his kingdom into 12. These governors, each one of them, there's an area where they are leading. And when we are being told that they are taking care of the king for a month, each governor is going to make sure where they are coming from. They're going to collect tax from the people from their area. And the proceeds or whatever they get from this collection, that is what is then taken to the palace, to where Solomon is, to take care of his palace and his everyone who is around him, the workers and everyone there. So now these 12 governors, they are leading in their areas and they are also helping him, not only in collecting tax, but they are also, because they're on ground, they're helping in understanding the grievances of the people, right? Because they're on ground. And when Solomon is wanting to have understanding of what is happening in his kingdom, he can just call these 12 governors. They will represent whoever they are leading in that area, in that space. And Solomon gets to have a view of the whole kingdom just by inviting 12 people. So Solomon is delegating his work and making his work is easier, but he is working smart. He is still the leader, but he is working with everyone so that these people are also feeling like they're involved. And because they are feeling like they're involved, they are going to be responsible, right, in making sure that everyone else is responsible wherever they're leading from. So Solomon finds himself in this place and he shows his good leadership skills. And then we get to the verse where now we hear how much is consumed in Solomon's house, right? We hear that there is 30 oxen, 100 flock of sheep. We have a lot, right? And some have tried to calculate whatever was being consumed in Solomon's household, and they are saying it could feed, right now, it could feed up to about around 15,000 people. Can you imagine? That's how much consumption in Solomon's household per day. That's what they would consume. So you would understand why he had to have these governors to finance, because the bill was a lot. And this is not the only expenditure that they had in terms of what they will pay, what they would need the money for. This is one of the many expenditures that they had. So there was this food that had to be taken care of, but there were the salaries for the workers. There was a lot, right? This is the system that our own governments use, right? That they will collect taxes, they will do that, and then the government is galvanized by these taxes, right? So now we find Solomon here having this consumption, and his kingdom seems to be running very well, because we are hearing that people were happy and they were merry, and he had so much wisdom, and we told about how many words, right, of the proverbs, and we know the songs that he wrote, and we're being told the comparisons of the people at that particular time who also equally had wisdom and understanding, but we are told that he surpassed them all, right? And people will come from afar to come and see and hear Solomon. He accustomed himself to things of nature, and he would know the type of leaves, type of trees, type of, you know, he had understanding of these things, and people will come for this knowledge, and they'll come to hear him speak, to hear him explain issues, to hear him execute his judgments, right, in his kingdom, because they had heard about him. So Solomon is showing us that as leaders we can delegate. It's good to delegate, right? Delegation is a good thing as a leader. You don't have to do everything by yourself. With all the wisdom he had, with all the understanding he had, he thought it a good idea to delegate. So it's through that wisdom that he understood that delegation is a good thing. So as a leader, you must remember that you don't have to do everything by yourself. You can still delegate and do things, and things could be still done. You just have to work smart, right? You don't have to burn out. Burning out is not a sign that you are a good leader. We love being burned out. We love doing that, and we find ourselves being burned out and we can't attend to our families. As a leader, you must be first the leader of your own family before you think of leading other people. If you fail to lead your own household, then you struggle to lead those that are outside. From us here, Mercy Abounds, we want to hear from you. We want to hear you encouraging and following. What are your lessons that you are learning as we are talking about Solomon? The consumption. Do you think it was a lot? Do you think it was good? The kind of taxes people would have suffered and struggled to pay these taxes, only for it to be so much expenditure per day, so much that will feed 15,000. Do you think? Well, 15,000, did he have 15,000 workers? Or he was feeding just He was feeding his household, feeding the workers, feeding the neighbors, feeding those that did not have food. Why was there so much consumption in the kingdom? And we then get to hear that Solomon then has horses and he's got chariots. And if we go to Deuteronomy 17, right, we start from verse 14, would hear God speaking to Moses. Moses is now speaking to the people. And he's saying, when you get there, when you start seeing other people around you, don't you start saying you want a king? Because when that king comes, what if the king starts uh, asking, right, to have a lot of horses, accumulating a lot of things, horses and chariots? And God had already seen this, that is going to happen. But because God is so loving, he's saying, I can see that this is what you're going to do, but I'm still going to tell you, right, that don't do it. I'm still giving you another chance that you don't do it because it's not right. And this is what Solomon is now doing. The horses, the number of the horses and the chariots, God never wanted the children of Israel to have a huge army. Why? He didn't want them to depend on self, to depend on their own strength, to depend on their army. He wanted them to depend on him. So he wanted the army to be as small as possible, so that they will know that the victory is God's. There is never a way that they will be able to win with the numbers that they had versus the enemies. They will then understand and appreciate that it's only God. But here we're getting Solomon accumulating so much horses, so much chariots, that it will be difficult now when they have victory to understand that it was God fighting for them. They will then start trusting in their horses and in their chariots, right? Instead of trusting in the Lord. So Solomon, that's the weakness that you have, having an individual ruling over you. They had a chance of letting God lead, but then they are now asking individuals to come in. And Solomon is being human here, right? And when power gets to the head, we all find ourselves doing the same. It could be a different kind of weaknesses that we might have, or that we might showcase, but weaknesses will start showing up, popping their heads as we lead, to show that we are only but human. And here Solomon, we remember we already said he is on a slippery slope. He already is Pharaoh's daughter, and here he has started again. He is having as many horses and the chariots, and all this is just to prepare for war. And the Pharaoh's daughter also was in preparation for war, because he's just creating and building relationships and having allies. Yet God said, I'm going to fight for you. So we should be careful as leaders to fully depend on God. The one who would have put you in that position will see you through. Whatever work that he started in you, he will see it to completion. Let us not try to find crashes that will try to now limp and walk on. Let us just let God be. We might not be able to see how he's going to fight, but he wants us to have faith and understand that because he started that journey with us, he will see it to completion. Let us not start adding other things along the way, because they will weigh us down. They will be heavy, and the ship will fall under the water and will sink, because everything we are carrying is now so heavy and is sinking the ship further down. Let us just be light and let God lead, and let God live by his promises, be faithful unto himself on the promises that he made over our lives. So from us here on Mercy Abounds, we want us to understand that as we are learning these things, we should also apply them in our lives. Not to talk about them, but apply them in our lives. Whatever God has started in your life, he will see it to completion. Put everything at the feet of Jesus. He will take care of it as he promised. Have a great week ahead.